Hey guys, and welcome to /X Games. So today I'm going to be showing you how you can record your best run. So basically we are taking advantage of our Ghost Player tutorial that I put together several weeks ago, and we're merging that together with platform game mechanics as well as counter controller and reading and writing from any files. So to show this off, I am using my level select tutorial. So I've got the forest level, I've got the desert level, and I've got the graveyard level. So let's go to the desert level. Now notice here I've already got a saved time, best playthrough of 10 seconds and 70 milliseconds. So if I click play, I should have a ghost player following me. And there he is, he's waiting for me. Oh, let's try race him. See if we can beat 10 seconds. No, I think we waited too long. Let's try again. Okay, so if we beat his time, it should now record our perfect playthrough. Get to the door, saved. There we go, 9 seconds and 40 milliseconds, and that's the way the game works. So if I were to go into it now, the new updated Ghost would be the perfect playthrough right over there, and it's actually be quite hard for us to beat him because I'm pretty sure that is as good as it gets. Doesn't update it because we didn't beat the score. So that's about what we're going to be creating today. But before we get started, like this video and subscribe to my channel for more cool stuff just like this. So this is where we're going to start. It's basically the end of the level select tutorial. This is going to be our base for this video. So first things first, I'm going to create a boot room because I'm going to be handling some global variables that I need to load in from some ini files. So this is going to be called room boot, as is tradition on my channel. 1280 by 720. Let's just give it a black background. Nothing fancy. And in the create event, in your settings, creation code over here, to expand this a bit, I'm going to say any open. I'm going to save an any called times, and let's close that immediately over here so we don't forget. I need to have globals. I have 3 globals, and they're going to be called something along the lines of level 1 time, level 2 time, and level 3 time. And that's basically any read string. So I'm going to be reading the string. That's the one we showed below each of those level select buttons. Let's say that this section is going to be level 1. The key is going to be string, and the default, let's say not set. And let's copy paste that, 2 and 3. Okay, so it's going to be reading those in, and it's going to read in the string not set if there's no value. And then room, go to rm, this is going to be level select. Cool. So this ini file is going to be saved and read from. Pretty much exists in your C, users, username, app data, local, and then the name of your project. Okay, so let's utilize those right away. If we go into our buttons, level 1, 2, and 3, add a draw event. Let's drag in some code. Here I'm going to first draw self. And I'm going to draw set color C white, and then draw set horizontal alignment to FA center, and then finally I'm going to say if global dot level 1 time is not equal to not set, then I'm going to say draw text x y plus something like 120, and string just for safety global dot level 1 time, just like that. So yeah, it's going to do some formatting, and as long as you've got an actual value, it's going to draw that value to the screen. So let's copy this guy and paste him in 2 and 3. Very straightforward stuff so far. Paste, and this is 3 time and 3 time, draw, paste, 2 time and 2 time. So next we're going to create the magic that records the time. Now a lot of the code here I'm going to be pasting from my count up timer tutorial, so I do suggest you go and check that out before you continue, but I will be going through the code that I paste just so you have a good understanding of what it does. So objects, let's create object controller, needs no sprite, let's add a create, we're going to have seconds, initialize to 0, we're going to have minutes, initialize to 0, and we're going to have hours, initialize to 0, count up is going to be true, so as soon as this is created, because these are going to exist in each room, it means it's time to start running because the timer has started. Okay, seconds, minutes, hours, count up is true, and the time string is basically these things that are going to be formatted nicely. Then the step events where all the magic's going to happen. First bit of code I'm going to paste is this one, if it's allowed to start. So if we're allowed to count up, then seconds is going to increment by 1 divided by room speed. Next bit of code I'm pasting is, what if the seconds hit around 60? If the seconds hit 60, we're going to increment the minutes by 1 and reset the seconds to 0. Next, well, what happens if minutes hit 60? Well, minutes are 60 means minutes are not 0 and hours gets incremented by 1. Next, I'm going to paste the code that's going to format all of this into something that we can show on the screen. Just like that. Okay, so if seconds is less than 10 and minutes is less than 10, then we've got this string. If seconds is greater than 10 and minutes is greater than equal to 10 also, we've got this string. If it's less than 10 and greater than equal to 10 minutes, this one, and so on. So now that we've got that, let's draw this to the screen. Add event, draw GUI, let's drag in some code, paste it in again. Here we've got draw set alignment, center alignment, font main that we need to create, FNT main, let's go for like an 18, nah, that's a bit big, let's go for a 16, let's go for a 16, cool. Right, so we've got font main, we're saying so long as the room is not room 3, because it's kind of dark, then we can go for black, otherwise it's going to be white on room 3. And we're drawing that time string that we put together in the step event over there, and there, and there, and there. Cool, so that's going to do our count up, and it's going to be starting as soon as the game world begins. Now let's go ahead and place this in every single room that we want to record time. Objects, controller, plonk. Objects, controller, plonk. And plonk it in there. There we go. So we've got everything going. In between the middle of our view, we're going to see that count up timer. Alright, so let's go and start recording our player. So this is going to be using everything from the Ghost Player tutorial. In our create, we're going to initialize our step to 0. That's our step count. And then in our step, this is where we're going to be recording the magic. So here I'm going to say record playthrough. Now this is a little bit simpler than my Ghost Player tutorial because we're not going to be creating multiple ghosts, we're just going to be creating one, so there's no array of arrays here, it's just one single two-dimensional array. So we're going to say actions, we're going to save the step, and 0 equals x, actions, let's actually copy this guy, step, like that, let's copy this, actions step 1 equals y, actions step 2 equals the sprite index, actions step 3 equals the image index, then action step 4 equals the image X scale. So that's to change our direction from facing left to facing right, and obviously increment our steps by 1. Okay, cool. So that's going to be recording every step into this actions array for every step. So that's going to be 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4, and then the next step 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, and so on and so on and so forth. Next, let's go ahead and create the door. I've got a sprite SPR door over here. So when we interact with this door, or we collide with it, that's when we're going to stop the controller or with that timer in the controller, and we're going to determine if our score, our new score, is any good and save it if it is. So object door, just like that. Let's actually go ahead and place this door in every room, wherever you'd like, I suppose. So I'm going to put it right at the end. There. And the desert map. Right over there. And the forest map, which is a little longer than the rest, also right at the end. Sweet. So let's go ahead and figure out what to do when we collide with that door. So let's minimize sprites and rooms. Don't need those anymore for now. Fonts. Object player. Well, when he collides with the door, let's do some magic. Firstly, our controller needs to stop counting. Counter because false. Our level, I'm going to set to blank. Our save file, also blank. These are just strings for now. Can save, default to false. So we're going to assume that it wasn't a good time. So if room was room level 1, then level equals level 1, and save file equals level1.sap. Okay, so some explanations here. This here is going to be the section of our ini file that stores our times. This over here, this is going to record all the little steps and that array that we were recording earlier. Else if room equals rm level 2, we're going to say that's level 2 and level 2, and I can say else if room equals level 3, then it's level 3 and level 3. Okay, good. Then, again as we did in the boot room, which I'm actually going to move to the top, in this creation event, I'm going to copy over all the ini code over here, paste it into the bottom, change a few things. So opening the times ini file, I'm going to create 3 variables again, hours, var minutes, and var seconds, and these are going to be stored as real numbers. And where it says level 1, I'm changing this to level, which is what we've got over here, here, and here. And where it says string, this one's going to be hours, this one is going to be minutes, this one's going to be seconds, and I'm going to default them to -1 if it isn't set. Okay, and then we're going to close that off. So now we've got the variables at our disposal. So firstly, well, if hours is equal to -1, or minutes is equal to -1, or seconds is equal to -1, well then straight off the bat we can say yes, we can save, because nothing's been set. Well, things are default, which means the file doesn't exist. All the values are corrupted for some reason, so we can save indeed. Otherwise, now we need to determine if our time is better than the saved time. So var old time needs to be compared to something called var new time. And to work out our old time, I'm going to be converting everything to seconds, and then we can just do a simple one value is greater or less than the other value. So old time is hours from here. I'm going to times 60 and times 60 again. So that'll turn hours into seconds. To that I'm going to add the minutes, which are just times a single 60. And to that I'm going to add the seconds. Easy. The new time, it's pretty much the same formula. except on hours, minutes and seconds I'm going to add object controller dot prefix over here. Oops, this one. Dot and dot and dot. Cool. So controller hours times 60 times 60 plus controller minutes times 60 and object controller seconds. And then we can do a nice and neat little comparison over here saying, well, if the new time is less than the old time, then can save equals true. Alright, so two cases where we can save the time if we don't have a time saved yet, or if our new time is less than our old time. Okay, cool. So if we can save, we need to do some magic. Now this actually takes advantage of my professional game save solution. If you haven't seen that tutorial, you should probably check it out, otherwise this might get a little bit hectic. But in this case, again, we're opening up our times any, and I'm going to do an any write real level hours, and I'm going to save all these. Minutes, seconds. Okay, so that'll save all the goodness, as well as any write string. We need to save let's say string, the string representation of our time, so that it can be displayed on the level select screen. So level controller dot, I think it was called time string. Okay, and then we're closing that up. Next, so now that we know that we've got a good time and we've saved that time, we need to save the array, or those actions that the player took, so that later on when we load into this game again, we can just read off of those and create a ghost player to race against. So we need to open or create a file, var save file equals file text, oopsie, text open write, and so it's going to be save file. So if we scroll up, there we go, there's save file right over there. Then I need to create some sort of JSON object here. Well, it's going to be a collection of JSON objects to represent those actions. So for var I equals 0, I is less than the array height 2D, and it was called the actions array because we're in player and we have access to his actions. And then I++. Here I need to convert instance to DSMap, or in this case it's array to DSMap. So first let's create that map, DSMap create. Next we need to grab all the goodies. So DSMap add is our ticket here, and we need to add to the instance map. What do we need to add? Well, an X coordinate, which is actions I 0. Just like that. And I can copy this a few times. So there was X, there was Y, there was sprite index, there was image index, and there was image X scale. Y, sprite index, image index, image X scale. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you're wondering where I get these, if we go to the step event of our player and we scroll to the bottom where it records our playthrough, here it is, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're giving them keys X, Y, sprite index, image index, and image X scale, just as we've got them here. Next we got to convert this DS map into JSON. So that's our JavaScript object notation. We can save and load it quite quickly. Var JSON instance equals JSON encode, and it's the instance map. and here I need to say file text write string. The file again is save file, and the string is the JSON instance. And we also need to add a separation character. File text write string again, save file, and I'm going to write the pipe. So that's how we're going to read it back to get that array working. Then we need to close the file. So that we use file text close, save file. But also we need to destroy this map. So we say ds map destroy instance map, just to be 100% sure that no memory is being leaked out. So next we need to actually go ahead and import a script that I found on the internet that's going to help us, separate things from here, because we need to now load them in when the player joins the game world to try and race his time. So I'm going to create a script for that. It's going to be called scr string split. I'm going to copy this in. This is from jblund, aka smallware, just like that. So yeah, it takes in two arguments: string you want to split up or explode, and the substring you want to split the string by. Example, if you pass in hello very very cruel world, and you say the pipe character is the split, then array 0 is going to be hello, array 1 is going to be very, array 2, element 2 is going to be very, 3 is going to be cruel, and 4 is going to be world, just like that. Alright, so now let's go into the controller. Now not only does it handle time, but it's also going to be doing the creation of our ghost player. So in the create event, I'm going to say var file name equals blank. This is now going to be the reading of the text from the file. If room equals level 1, 2, 3, etc. We can actually grab this from the collision event between the player and the door. There we go. Let's grab this. Paste it in here. So if we're in the level 1, then the file name, or the save file, is going to be called level 1 save. If it's level 2, it's level 2 save, etc. And now let's load a ghost from the file. First, let's not do it if the file doesn't exist. So if file exists, save file. Cool. So if it exists, we carry on. Var file equals file text open read save file. This is all being saved in that app data local folder. We also need to make sure that the file isn't empty, so if not, file text end of file. If there's still something to read, let's give ourselves some space over here. Then I'm going to say var master data equals file read string file. Now let's get the JSON values. Var array equals scr, this is where we're using that script, scr string split, and we want to split up the master data by that character, pipe character, and var count, like how many array elements do we have, is going to be array length, just 1D array, just like that. Okay, so long as count is greater than 0, as long as we got some proper meat and potato data right over there. Then for each JSON item, I equals 0, I is less than count, I plus plus. Okay, so for each array element, I'm going to say that the JSON is equal to the array I. Now let's deserialize this. var map equals JSON decode. Yeah, that's the one, JSON. So now we've got a DS map here, so don't forget to say DS map destroy map. We can extract the values, pretty sure. Var x, var y, var sprites index, var image index, var image, image x. I'm putting underscores there because if I remove them, they are reserved words. Yeah, so they need underscores for this, just so that we can follow what they are exactly. DS map find value, passing in the map, DS map, and the key x, and we can copy paste this around, copy these into here, and remove the underscores. Alright, so we're extracting the x, y, sprite index, image index, and image x scale. So let's go ahead after destroying that map and create a new array called ghost actions. So sort of like actions, but this is a ghost, so it's going to be ghost actions. I0 equals underscore x, and copy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, underscore y, underscore sprite index, underscore image index. So we're creating an array over here. I mean, I suppose you could merge these two blocks of statements into each other if you want, doesn't really matter. And once we've done that, we've got all the information we need, and it has created at this point our array that we've read from the file. So let's see here. So when we do get to the end of the file, we can say file text close file, and finally var I equals, so let's create our ghost instance, create at x, y, doesn't really matter because the first step of going through the actions is going to update that object ghost I.actions equals ghost actions, and I.max step, because we need to know how far it can go before it destroys itself, is equal to count. So ghost actions comes from here, that's the array that's being built by this for loop, and count comes from over here, where we count the amount of steps or array elements. Cool stuff. Clean this up. So let's go ahead and create this ghost. Ghost. In his create event, let's add step equals 0, image alpha. Let's make him somewhat transparent. And in the step event, we need him to follow his steps and recite the moves of the best run through. So if step is less than max step, else if step is greater than max step, he's going to destroy himself. If it's less than, well, then we need to update his x, his y, his sprite index, his image index, and the last one is his image x scale, and these we get by saying actions step 0. And let's copy paste all these. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and then lastly over here we want to increment step by 1. So with the first step there's going to be 1, 0, or with the first step which is going to be 0, it's going to be 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4. The next step is going to be 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, and 1, 4, just like that. And so on and so forth. So that about actually wraps up everything we need to know. I'm going to run through it quickly so you guys can understand exactly what went into creating the solution. So in our boot room, we are reading from an ini file. We're getting a string representation of the best scores for every room, 1, 2, and 3 from the times ini, and we are storing those into globals 1, 2, and 3 over here. And these globals are then being written or displayed in our buttons 1, 2, and 3 in the draw events right over here, so long as they have a value and not the default not set. Then we have created a controller which we placed in every room. This is our count up controller. It has the initialized steps. It has the counter action happening here in the step, and here is where it formats the count and the time. Then the draw GUI is going to draw it at the center of the view, 25 pixels from the top, and that's the time string. Then in our player, we want to make sure that when he's created, it's going to be counting his steps and recording what he's doing. So we've got a step counter over here at 0 on create. In the step event, right at the bottom, we're recording his playthrough into an array called actions, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, x, y, sprite index, image index scale. If there's any other variables you'd like to keep track of, just add them to the next one, so that'll be step 5, etc. Then we've got a door object right over here, which pretty much has no code. This is just the guy that we're going to be interacting with in order to stop our timer and do some magic. So when we do collide with that door over here, in the collision event, we are going to stop our counter, initialize some variables, especially one that says that, you know what, actually I'm going to assume that we didn't beat our time. Then here I'm setting the name of our section in our ini file, as well as the name of the save file where we save all those steps within that actions array. I'm opening up the times that we might already have saved in times.ini, the same ini file that we use in the boot room. We've got 3 variables we want to read in: hours, minutes, seconds. They default to -1 into these variables over here, and if any one of them is -1, then we can save immediately, because it means that this does not exist. Otherwise, the time that we grab from the ini file, I'm converting to seconds. I'm converting object controller's time to seconds, and I'm determining if the new time is less than the old time. If so, then we can save. And if we do save, let's update the values of hours, minutes, and seconds over here to that of the hours, minutes, and seconds stored in object controller. And as well, let's also save the string representation of that time as a string. Don't get these confused. Next, I'm going to open the save file, which we have said is called one of these, level 1, level 2, or level 3.sav, right over here. And for every action we have in our actions array, convert that action to a DS map. So we've got actions 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, which is the x, y, sprite index, and image x scale respectively. Then we're going to convert that to a JSON representation and save that to our file with the pipe character, and destroy our map obviously, and close the file. So that's ready to be read as soon as we want. Next, let's go into the create event of our controller. So when we join a game, we now want the create event to read from that ini file and see if there's a ghost ready to race against. And to do so, we are figuring out what's the save file name depending on our room. We are checking if the save file exists. If so, then we're going to open it up and make sure that there's text to read. If there is text, let's read it into one long master data string. Let's split that string up into our JSON arrays using the pipe character and string split script. We're counting how many steps we have. That's our count variable, which we'll use later. So long as there are valid steps for each one of those, we are grabbing each array element as the JSON. We are turning that JSON into our DS map, and we are extracting the values from that map into these 5 variables using their keys to get the values. Then we are destroying that map immediately because we don't need it anymore, and we are constructing and appending to ghost actions array. And this will keep going until there's no more array elements as JSON formats within this array. So once we've done all that, we are going to close our file, and we are going to create one single ghost object and assign him, or his actions, the array of ghost actions, and his max step to be that of count, which we got up here. So now that we've done that, let's go ahead and show you guys what we did with that ghost again. Our ghost create, basically he's half invisible and his step has been initialized to 0. In his step event, he says, well, if I'm done with all my steps, then I'm going to destroy myself. Otherwise, I'm just going to read what I should read with whatever step I've got, and 0 becomes the X and the 1 is the Y, and so on and so forth, and then increasing my step count by 1 just to make sure I'm in time with everyone else. And also make sure that you've placed your controllers in each room, as well as the doors wherever you'd like to stop the counter and end the game world, because as soon as we hit this door, if I remember correctly, it's going to go to the level select room. Will it? We need to say room, go to RM, level select. Okay, so let's test this out and see what happens. Well, actually, while we're here, if we go to the player colliding with the door, he needs to actually go to the boot room, not level select, because remember, once we've ended, it needs to reload the times that have just been saved, and that is all done in the boot room. Okay, so now let's go ahead and test this out. Okay, so here we are in our level select screen. Let's see, there's nothing displayed over here because we haven't started the game yet. Let's go to the desert map and click play. Okay, our time is started. We don't have a ghost player yet. Nothing's been saved, so that's okay. Things are working so far. So this should be recording my steps as I fool around here in my game and try not to die. Okay, let's get to the end and try hit 15. Okay, oh, there we go, 1463. Let's go and try out the forest map. Again, starts at 0. Running. Let's try to get the fastest time here, but you know, enable ourselves to get this beat. Okay, cool. See if we can hit maybe 15 on this one. We're not gonna make 15, maybe 20. 1780, awesome. So let's go ahead and replay the desert map and try beat 14 seconds and 63 milliseconds. Oh, there's our ghost. Oh, he's following. Cool. He's actually reciting every single step that we played. Let's try beat him. Oh, he's fooling around down there. Can he catch us? Oh, we better beat him now. At 1367, and the time has been updated. So just like that, we have demonstrated how easy it is to create a ghost player for your platform game, or actually any game for that matter, because it's basically just recording the player steps and then reciting them back, and it's saving all the stuff in any file so you can exit the game and come back later and still play. So I hope you found this tutorial educational and helpful. Please feel free to comment, rate and subscribe. If you got any other fun suggestions, like this was a suggestion from one or two subscribers, then please let me know. We can turn it into a reality, maybe help some people out too along the way. If you would like to get the project files for this, they're in the description. If you like what I'm doing here as well as many of my other tutorials on this channel, please check out my Patreon campaign. I do appreciate your support. So until next time, happy coding, and I'll see you then.